how interracial marriage is secretly strengthening society. What if the rise of interracial marriage is about more than just personal choice? What if it's a powerful and mostly unseen force that's building a stronger, more connected society for all of us? We love to talk about love crossing boundaries, but we rarely discuss how, by doing so, it builds brand new foundations. These marriages are far more than private promises. They are quiet revolutions happening in homes across the country. They're creating stronger families, more connected communities, and a more adaptable future. This isn't just a story about romance. It's a story about the hidden architecture of a better world. The old walls and the courage to climb them. To understand just how powerful these unions are today, we have to look back at the walls they were forced to climb. The story of interracial relationships in America is one of fighting back against centuries of legal and social bans. It started with one of the first recorded interracial marriages, Pocahontas and John Rolfe in 1614, a union that briefly brought peace between their communities. But that moment of connection was quickly overshadowed. Colonies like Maryland and Virginia soon passed strict laws to prevent racial mixing, all to maintain a rigid social hierarchy. Over time, these rules became deeply embedded in the culture. By the time of the landmark 1967 Supreme Court case, Loving v. Virginia, 16 states still had laws that made it a crime to marry someone of a different race. Imagine that. In 16 states, the simple act of marrying the person you love could land you in prison. This was the reality for Mildred Jeter, a woman of Black and Native American descent, and Richard Loving, a white man. They fell in love in Virginia, a state that outlawed their marriage. So, they drove to Washington, D.C. to get married. But when they returned home, they were arrested in the middle of the night. Their sentence? A year in prison, suspended only if they agreed to leave Virginia and not return together for 25 years. They were exiled from their home, their families, and their community for the crime of being married. Their fight went all the way to the Supreme Court. In a unanimous decision, the court declared that marriage is a fundamental right and that laws banning it based on race were unconstitutional. Chief Justice Earl Warren wrote, "Under our Constitution, the freedom to marry or not marry a person of another race resides with the individual and cannot be infringed by the state." With that one ruling, the walls came tumbling down. The Loving weren't just fighting for their own love. They were fighting for millions of future families. The change that followed was seismic. In 1967, only 3% of newlyweds in the United States were in an interracial marriage. By 2015, that number had surged to 17%, a more than five-fold increase. As of 2021, about 11 million married couples in the U.S. were interracial. The numbers tell a story of breathtaking social change, but the real impact goes far beyond statistics. It lies in the quiet, profound ways these marriages are strengthening the very fabric of our society, the psychological forge of a modern union. When two people from different backgrounds build a life together, they often face a unique set of challenges. They might deal with disapproving family, insensitive questions from strangers, or biases they now have to navigate as a team. But what many see as a disadvantage can secretly forge powerful psychological skills. Navigating these pressures forces couples to get exceptionally good at communication. You can't just ignore issues of race and culture. You have to talk about them, listen, learn, and create a shared language for your experiences. This builds a foundation of deep trust and emotional intimacy. Facing stigma together can also create a powerful, resilient bond, a sense of us against the world that deepens their commitment. This cultivated skill set of high-level communication, empathy, and joint problem-solving spills over into every other part of their lives. It can make them better at resolving all kinds of conflicts, from finances to parenting. Now, it's important to be clear, this doesn't mean these unions are magically immune to problems. In fact, some studies show that interracial couples can face higher rates of divorce, likely due to these intense external pressures. However, many couples report that consciously working through their unique challenges is precisely what strengthens their partnership, making their bond more resilient than they ever imagined. They don't just survive in spite of the challenges, they can thrive because of them. The cultural melting pot at home. An interracial marriage isn't just two people joining together, it's two worlds blending. It's where the rich threads of different cultures are woven into a new, unique family tapestry. This isn't about one culture erasing the other. It's about fusion creating a third culture that belongs only to that family. Think about the holidays. One family might have always had Christmas with stockings and carols, while the other celebrated Hanukkah with a menorah and latkes. In a blended home, kids might get to experience both. The family calendar becomes a mosaic of celebrations: Diwali, Lunar New Year, Juneteenth, Dia de los Muertos, all honored with real understanding. The dinner table turns into a culinary adventure. One night it's soul food, the next it's handmade pasta, and after that, it's a traditional pho passed down for generations. The home itself becomes a living museum of cultural exchange, filled with art from different traditions, music from different continents, and stories in multiple languages. This daily exposure to different perspectives is an incredible gift. It creates an environment of constant learning and curiosity. Family conversations are richer, peppered with different ways of seeing the world. Children grow up with a bigger sense of identity, comfortable moving between cultural contexts in a way that feels totally natural. They learn that different isn't something to fear, but something to celebrate and embrace. This cultural alchemy enriches the family from the inside out, making the home more dynamic, vibrant, and connected to the world. Raising the next generation of bridge builders. If interracial families are a force for change, then their children are the pioneers of a more integrated future. Growing up in a home where two or more cultures are the norm gives these kids a unique set of tools for navigating an increasingly complex world. From a very young age, multiracial and multicultural children see the world through more than one lens. This dual exposure fosters remarkable cognitive flexibility and adaptability. They can learn to code switch between cultural contexts with the same ease a bilingual person switches between languages, a true superpower in our globalized world. It makes them more open-minded, innovative, and skilled at understanding people from all walks of life. Parents of biracial children often see a heightened sense of empathy in them. Because their own identity is a bridge between different groups, they often have a natural ability to see things from multiple viewpoints. They understand instinctively that the world isn't black and white, but a beautiful and complex spectrum. This lived experience with diversity can help protect them from prejudice. It's hard to hold on to stereotypes about a group of people when your grandmother, uncle, or parent is one of them. Their very existence is a testament to unity. These children aren't just products of a more connected world, they are active agents in creating it. They are natural bridge builders, connectors, and diplomats, moving through the world with a fluency and diversity that many of us spend a lifetime trying to learn. They are living proof that our differences aren't barriers, but sources of strength and beauty. This conversation is just the beginning. The strength of our society is built on the strength of our connections, and these families are lighting the path. If this story resonates with you, or if you've seen these benefits in your own life or community, share your experiences in the comments below. Let's talk about how love is quietly, powerfully changing the world. And if you believe in exploring the forces that shape a better future, don't forget to subscribe. The ripple effect on society. The impact of interracial marriage ripples far beyond the home. Every interracial couple and family going about their day shopping for groceries, playing at the park, attending a parent-teacher conference is a living, breathing statement against prejudice. They are, in essence, the contact hypothesis in action. This is the long-held idea from social science that prejudice is best reduced through meaningful personal contact between different groups. When a person who holds unconscious biases sees a loving, thriving mixed-race family, it sends a signal that chips away at their stereotypes. It challenges their assumptions and nudges them to see people as individuals, not categories. This isn't a confrontational act, it's a quiet, human one that helps normalize diversity and makes the idea of a multicultural society a tangible, relatable reality. This ripple effect helps create more inclusive communities. As intermarriage becomes more common, the rigid lines that once divided us begin to blur. These families naturally create diverse social networks, bringing together people who might never have otherwise interacted. A family barbecue becomes a microcosm of a truly integrated society, where people connect not because they have to, but because they're bound by friendship and family. This social cohesion is a vital ingredient for a healthy democracy. It reduces in-group bias, fosters a sense of shared identity, and builds the trust needed to solve complex problems together. In this way, an interracial marriage isn't just a private choice, it's a public good. It is one of the most organic and effective tools we have for healing historical divides and building a society where everyone feels they belong. From a forbidden act punishable by exile to a driving force in our society, the story of interracial marriage is a story of incredible progress. It started with a courageous couple, Mildred and Richard Loving, who believed their love was worth fighting for, and it has blossomed into a quiet revolution that's reshaping our world from the inside out. We've seen how these unions forge psychological resilience, turning outside challenges into a source of strength and communication. We've seen how they create culturally rich homes where the next generation is raised with an innate fluency in diversity. And we've seen how their very presence sends ripples of acceptance through our communities, breaking down old barriers and building new bridges. Interracial marriage is not just a symptom of a more tolerant society, it's a cause. It's an active ingredient in the recipe for a stronger, more adaptable, and more empathetic world. These families are weaving the fabric of a 21st century society, creating a new, more inclusive definition of what it means to be a family, a community, and a nation. Their love stories are not just personal triumphs. They are a collective investment in a better, more connected future for all of us. Subscribe for more insightful learning and powerful stories.